legend continues.
Ah yes, survival horror. That magical genre where your ammo runs out faster than your patience, and opening a door feels more stressful than your last breakup. Welcome to BitCrush, where we lovingly dive headfirst into the absolute best survival horror games you can play right now, even if your nerves disagree. From psychological trauma wrapped in gorgeous pixels to blood-soaked nostalgia bombs that scream in Dolby Atmos, this one's for the horror addicts and the brave masochists alike. Let's do this with one eye open. Resident Evil 2 Remake. Okay, let me start by saying, this isn't just a remake. This is the remake. If 1998 Resident Evil 2 was your childhood trauma, this is your high-definition relapse. I remember booting this thing up and thinking, yeah, I'll just play for 20 minutes. Cut to 4 hours later. I'm low on ammo, high on regret, and a 7-foot trench-coated tyrant is playing hide-and-seek with my soul. You play as either Leon, the baby-faced rookie with an alarming tolerance for undead weirdness, or Claire, who somehow stays stylish during the worst zombie outbreak ever. Raccoon City has never looked more terrifying or beautifully wet. I swear, this game's reign has more budget than most indie films. Combat is tight, inventory is stressful, in the best way, and every corridor dares you to open that next door. Plus, the dual storylines? Chef's kiss. It's got that vintage Capcom absurdity blended with just enough modern polish to make you forget this game started life on the original PlayStation. A survival horror masterclass. And if you haven't played it yet, are you even a gamer? Dead Space. Now let's talk Dead Space, baby. Or as I like to call it, Resident Evil in zero gravity, but with more dismemberment. I thought I was ready. I wasn't. The USG Ishimura is a floating metal coffin crawling with things that used to be human but now look like a meat blender had a nightmare. Isaac Clarke doesn't speak much, which is perfect because neither did I while playing. I was too busy panicking. The sound design is demonic. You hear a creak in the vent and suddenly you're running like a toddler who just heard the word bedtime. The plasma cutter is still the MVP of sci-fi weaponry, and yes, you still have to shoot off their limbs. Don't aim for the head. That's rookie stuff. The remake modernizes everything without losing the charm of being slowly emotionally dismantled in space. The UI is still projected from Isaac's suit. No HUD, just immersion and existential dread. It's gory, it's gorgeous, and it's guaranteed to make you question why you thought going to space was a good idea in the first place. Alone in the Dark, 2024 Reboot. Look, Alone in the Dark was the OG survival horror grandpa that limped so Resident Evil could sprint. But the 2024 Reboot? Oh, it walked back in the room with David Harbour and Jodie Comer like, yeah, I still got it. This reimagining trades pixelated tank controls for psychological dread in Dorsetto Manor, and let me tell you, every room in that house feels like it's judging you. The vibes? Pure haunted Southern Gothic. You're not just solving puzzles, you're piecing together a mind slowly unraveling. And when the monsters show up, it's not run and gun. It's more like, oh crap, what drawer did I hide the bullets in? A perfect comeback. Welcome back, Grandpa. We missed you. Resident Evil 4 Original and Remake. Resident Evil 4 is that friend who shows up at every party, steals the show, and somehow never gets old. Whether you played the 2005 original with its gloriously weird one-liners, Where's Everyone Going? Bingo, or the stunning 2023 remake with cinematic flair, the experience slaps hard. Leon Kennedy is basically the James Bond of biohazard scenarios, except instead of martinis, he downs green herbs. Chainsaw dudes, creepy villagers yelling, "Detrás de ti, imbecile!" and Ashley screaming like a broken fire alarm. It's chaotic, it's brilliant, and it never lets you breathe. If RE2 Remake is pure terror, RE4 is the action horror roller coaster that never hits the brakes. Silent Hill 2. Okay, gather round. Silent Hill 2 isn't just horror. It's a therapy session you didn't ask for, wrapped in fog and guilt and things with way too many limbs. You play as James Sunderland, who heads to Silent Hill after getting a letter from his dead wife. And if that sentence didn't tip you off that this is going to get weird, then welcome to the club. Every monster is a metaphor. Every sound design choice is meant to make your skin crawl. And Pyramid Head? He's not just a boss. He's your therapist, and he charges by the nightmare. It's uncomfortable. It's brilliant. And if you've ever had unresolved trauma, this town will happily serve it back to you on a rusted dinner plate. The Medium. Here's how The Medium starts. You're a psychic named Marianne, and you wake up from a nightmare only to walk straight into one. The hook? You can see and play in two realities at once. It's like if Stranger Things and Silent Hill had a Polish baby with a flair for stylish existential horror. The dual screen mechanic is genuinely awesome, until your brain starts short-circuiting trying to solve puzzles while existing in two dimensions. And the monster? Let's just say the voice of Troy Baker whispering, "Let me wear your skin at 3 a.m. is unforgettable. This game doesn't go for cheap scares. It plays the long game, creeping into your psyche like a cold draft under a locked door. Absolutely deserves a playthrough with the lights off and the volume up. The Last of Us Part 1. Let's be honest, this game isn't just survival horror. It's emotional survival horror. The infected are scary, sure, but the real terror? Having to watch Joel and Ellie suffer over and over while you pretend your controller's not getting soggy. The remake makes everything hit harder, from the shiv kills to the quiet guitar strums between chapters. It's like playing a prestige HBO drama where you also get to stab zombies in the throat. Every clicker encounter made me hold my breath like it was me hiding under the counter. And don't get me started on that intro again. You know the one. If you haven't played this, fix your life. If you have, play it again and cry responsibly. This one, top tier. No notes. The Evil Within 2. I'll be real with you. The first Evil Within gave me anxiety. The second one gave me hope, and then swiftly took it away with demonic spider ladies and flesh golems wearing trench coats. The Evil Within 2 is survival horror as interpreted by someone having the worst therapy session of their life. You play as Sebastian Castellanos, a man who lost everything, then willingly crawls into a digital hellscape called STEM to find his daughter. Big mistake. This time around, the game throws in some semi-open world gameplay, giving you the false sense that you're in control. You're not. Whether it's haunting hallways filled with static mannequins or that damn camera-obsessed serial killer, everything's designed to make you feel watched. It's weird, it's unsettling, and somehow, it's fun as hell. Horror with heart and trauma. P.T. Ah yes, P.T. The greatest game that never was. A tiny hallway, a loop, a ghost named Lisa who hates you more every time you blink. It's the demo that broke the internet and then got Thanos snapped out of existence by Konami. But if you played it, you remember. Every loop in that hallway got darker, more twisted, more psychologically suffocating. There were no weapons, no escape, and no tutorial. Just your own breathing, the sound of a crying baby in the sink. Yes, really. And the creeping realization that you were being hunted by something you couldn't understand. P.T. was terror in its purest form. And the worst part? We'll never get the full game. This was Silent Hills, directed by Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro. It was art. It was pain. It was perfect. RIP. Alien Isolation. If Dead Space was your emotional breakup, Alien Isolation is the toxic ex who stalks your Instagram and your air vents. This game doesn't care about your mental health. It wants you scared, cornered, and crying inside a locker. You play as Amanda Ripley, daughter of Ellen Ripley, and you are trapped on a derelict space station where a single xenomorph, yes, one, is more terrifying than an entire zombie horde. Because it learns, it listens, and it hunts. There's no blasting your way out here. You sneak, you hide, you pray. I still have PTSD from the motion tracker beeping in the dark. But that's what makes it incredible. The tension is relentless. Even save stations become horror set pieces. The first time I died while trying to save my game, I actually laughed. Then I cried. Then I restarted. If survival horror means feeling utterly helpless, This game is the blueprint. Play it with headphones, and thank me later for the nightmares. Let's take a break from blood and guts and dive into something more existentially devastating. SOMA is what happens when someone says, "What if a horror game also ruined your ability to sleep at night because of philosophical dread?" You're underwater, surrounded by flickering lights and malfunctioning robots who think they're people. And the more you explore, the more you wish you hadn't. It's not about jump scares. It's about realizing your humanity might be software running on a hard drive. There were moments I sat there, controller in hand, whispering, "Am I the bad guy to my cat?" This game doesn't just scare you, it infects you. Absolute masterpiece of narrative horror. Alan Wake 2. You know what's scarier than monsters? Writers. Especially ones who live in remote cabins and talk to shadow people. Alan Wake 2 turns the dial from psychological thriller to full-on survival horror fever dream. And yes, Remedy's still weird and brilliant. You jump between two protagonists, Saga Anderson, a rational FBI agent, and Alan himself, now trapped in a nightmare realm of his own making. It's like Stephen King co-wrote Inception and then dropped acid. The vibe? Supernatural Twin Peaks meets Resident Evil. The gameplay? Flashlight combat returns, and yes, it still works beautifully. But what elevates this sequel is the dual narrative. You're solving two mysteries at once, and just when you think you've got a grip, the game goes full Black Lodge on you. The scares are psychological, the visuals are haunting, and the live-action cutscenes? Weird as hell, but somehow perfect. Alan Wake 2 is less about jump scares and more about dread slowly wrapping around your spine like a typewriter cable. Play it, and then replay it because the second time is even more twisted. The Kalisto Protocol. This game was hyped as the spiritual successor to Dead Space, and let me tell you, it leans hard into the space prison hellscape aesthetic. You're Jacob Lee, a space trucker who somehow ends up in an off-world Alcatraz that makes the Ishimura look like a cruise ship. The enemies are grotesque, the deaths are brutal, and the combat? Oh, it's meaty. Every swing of your stun baton feels like you're cracking bones IRL. But here's the kicker. This game wants you to get hurt. I mean, it punishes you for breathing wrong. I died so many times I started naming the death animations. Sure, it's not perfect, the story's a little meh, and the checkpoint system hates you, but when this game clicks, it feels like you're fighting for your life in the best way. Just maybe wear a helmet. Dino Crisis. Before Capcom turned Chris Redfield into a boulder-punching demigod, they gave us Resident Evil with dinosaurs. And yes, it was exactly as chaotic and glorious as it sounds. Dino Crisis is like if Jurassic Park forgot to hire security and instead gave a flamethrower to a redhead in a bodysuit. Regina, aka the sassier, deadlier cousin of Jill Valentine, fights her way through a secret facility crawling with velociraptors, mutant T-Rexes, and more keycards than common sense. The tension is real here. These dinos don't shamble around like zombies. They sprint, pounce, and literally drag you out of hiding spots. I swear I never screamed louder than the first time I thought I'd escaped, only for a raptor to burst through the window. Classic Capcom panic design. It's clunky, it's campy, and it deserves a remake yesterday. A Plague Tale: Innocence. No jump scares, no ghosts. Just one of the most emotionally draining survival stories you'll ever play. A Plague Tale: Innocence is about Amnesia and her little brother Hugo, fleeing through a 14th century France crawling with Inquisition soldiers and a billion, yes, billion plague rats. These aren't cute rats. These are apocalyptic, flesh-eating swarms of terror that eat people faster than a TikTok trend dies. The gameplay is mostly stealth and puzzle solving, with occasional torch-lit, run-or-die moments. But the real horror is the desperation, the constant sense that you're not just trying to survive, you're trying to preserve what's left of your humanity. It's emotionally gutting in the best way, and it's proof that survival horror doesn't need monsters to be terrifying. Sometimes the fear of losing someone you love is enough. Fatal Frame 2: Crimson Butterfly. So you know how most horror games give you guns, flamethrowers, or at least a sharp stick? Yeah, Fatal Frame 2 hands you a camera, because nothing says survival like taking glamour shots of tortured ghosts before they strangle you. This game is emotionally wrecking. You play as twin sisters exploring a haunted village filled with tragic spirits, and the only way to survive is by photographing their souls. You have to wait until they're right in your face to do real damage. It's horrifying, claustrophobic, and strangely beautiful. This is psychological horror at its best. It wants you to feel empathy, sadness, and then scare the absolute crap out of you. Bonus points for the music and lore, which are rich and haunting. I didn't sleep right for a week. 10/10 would ghost hunt again. Tormented Souls. You ever wake up in a bathtub, missing an eye, in a mansion that looks like it was decorated by Satan's interior designer? Yeah, welcome to Tormented Souls. This is the ultimate love letter to early Resident Evil and Silent Hill. Fixed camera angles, tank controls, creepy mannequins, and puzzles that make you question whether you ever passed basic geometry. And listen, this game doesn't care if you're ready. It throws you into the dark, hands you a nail gun, and says, "Good luck, sweetheart." Every creaky door feels like a dare, and every save point is a sacred altar. I played this game with a notebook beside me like I was deciphering an ancient language, and I loved every brutal second of it. Amnesia: The Dark Descent. So imagine this. You're stuck in a decrepit, candlelit dungeon, your memory's wiped, your sanity is hanging by a thread, and your only plan is run and hope it works. That's Amnesia: The Dark Descent. And yes, it's as gloriously anxiety-inducing as it sounds. No weapons, no bravado, just the sound of your own panicked breathing and the gentle squelch of some hellspawn stalking you in the dark. I swear, this game made me question if I'd left the lights on in real life, or if that was just my brain trying to comfort itself. Every time you hide in a cupboard praying the monster doesn't sniff you out, you realize this is survival horror, baby. If you've ever wanted to feel like a Victorian intern at a haunted mental asylum, this one's for you. Haunting Ground. You, a mansion, a stalker, and your only hope? A loyal pupper named Huey. Haunting Ground is the spiritual sister of Clock Tower and one of the most psychologically cruel horror games I've ever played. You play as Fiona, a girl trapped in a mansion full of grotesque stalkers who all want a piece of her, literally or metaphorically. The game's all about hiding, running, and begging Huey to save your butt with perfectly timed bites. And when you mess up, panic mode kicks in and Fiona runs like she just saw her student loans. There's no combat, no weapons, just strategy, hiding spots, and sheer uncut anxiety. It's creepy, beautifully designed, and deserves way more love than it got. If you're into dread-soaked cat-and-mouse gameplay, Haunting Ground is pure horror bliss. Bonus, Huey is best doggo. Resident Evil Village. Okay, imagine Resident Evil 4, but instead of Spanish villagers, it's a haunted European fairy tale with vampires, werewolves, and a 9-foot-tall Dami-Mommy stomping around a gothic castle. That's Resident Evil Village, and yes, it's every bit as insane as it sounds. You're Ethan Winters again, the most emotionally and physically resilient man in horror history, and you're on a mission to find your kidnapped daughter. Along the way, you get mauled, dismembered, hallucinated on, chased by dolls, eaten by werewolves, and that's just before lunch. This game is peak modern Capcom, action-packed, totally unhinged, and somehow still terrifying. Lady D alone broke the internet, but don't sleep on Heisenberg's Factory of Horrors or that horrifying baby in the basement. Yeah, that baby. You'll know when you get there. This game is wild, and I was grinning like a psycho the whole time. Outlast 2. Okay, confession. I played Outlast 2 through my fingers. This game isn't just horror, it's religiously disturbing. You're Blake Langerman, a journalist. Why is it always journalists? Investigating a creepy cult in the Arizona desert. No weapons, no health packs, just a camcorder, bad decisions, and your wife missing somewhere in this hellscape. If the first Outlast was Spooky Asylum Simulator, the sequel is hallucinogenic biblical nightmare. You're being chased by zealots who speak in tongues, hide in cornfields, and are apparently allergic to flashlights. The game excels at one thing, making you feel powerless. and sick. Motion sickness, to be specific. The stealth is brutal, the pacing is merciless, and the camcorder night vision mechanic means your battery anxiety will be worse than your horror anxiety. If you like your horror twisted, sweaty, and hallucinatory, Outlast 2 is a must-play. Just maybe keep the lights on. And there you have it, Survivors. 20 survival horror games that didn't just mess with our health bars, they messed with our souls. From haunted hallways to flesh-eating rats, from ghosts with abandonment issues to space zombies who clearly skipped therapy, this list had it all. If your heart rate is still normal after all that, you probably skipped the part with PT shame. Go back. Suffer properly. But seriously, if you've played any of these games, let me know which ones broke you emotionally and which ones just made you scream like a Roomba rolling over a Lego. And hey, if we missed your favorite panic simulator, drop it in the comments and tell us why we're cowards for not including it. If you made it this far without alt-tabbing to look for walkthroughs, congrats! You're officially BitCrush certified. Tough, twisted, and emotionally scarred, just like the best horror protagonists. Smash that like button, like it's the last flashlight battery in your inventory. Subscribe before something grabs your ankle, and ring the bell like it's your last chance to save. Catch you in the next video, if you make it out alive.